The following video may not be suitable for children 13 and under. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's video I wanted to talk about Titans. Recently we got some early leaked pictures of Earthrise Scorponok, and I gotta say, from what I've seen so far, I am really looking forward to that figure. I'm sure we'll see more pictures of Scorponok at this upcoming toy fair, which takes place at the end of the month. But for now, I was really excited from what I've saw so far, and that excitement prompted me to bring out all my Titan class figures that I've collected over the years, as you can see here on this table. Now, there was a time when I thought the days of large 2-foot-tall Transformers were over. Back in 2001, Hasbro brought over the Japanese car robots line as Transformers Robots in Disguise, and in that line was Brave Maximus, which was a repaint of the Generation 1 Fortress Maximus. Hasbro did plan to bring Brave Maximus into the US in 2002, but was not able to do so because it did not pass the toy safety standards of that time. I believe it didn't pass the drop test, so they weren't able to bring it in. But to my surprise, 11 years later, Hasbro would introduce the Titan class figure to us in 2013 with Generations Metroplex. Metroplex was released during Hasbro's Thrilling 30 campaign celebrating 30 years of Transformers, and he stands about 24 inches tall, which was the largest Transformer ever produced, as Generation 1 Fortress Maximus and his many repaints stood around 22 or 23 inches tall. Now, the robot design is a very stylized version of his original Generation 1 design, but he does keep the same alternate modes as he does transform into city and mobile battle station. Now, the version I have is the standard retail release of the figure, and it doesn't have all the extras that the other versions had. For example, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive had 2 guns, some chrome applications, and included some non-transforming figures, like tiny figures. I think they were as small as the G1 decoys. And it was also an exclusive not only to San Diego Comic-Con, but Hasbro Toy Shop, which I guess now would be considered Hasbro Pulse. And then after that version, there was a Takara Tomy version that had their own variation on the figure, similar to the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, being that it had 2 guns and chrome applications. It did have more paint apps and I believe more sticker detail on him. Now, if you did miss out on the 2013 Generations Metroplex, I recently learned, and I don't know why I missed this, that Takara Tomy had a mall exclusive in 2018 under the Legends line to coincide with the release of Dinosaur. They're also known as Trypticon. That was what they called him in Japan. So, yeah, there was many versions of Metroplex and many opportunities to get him. I am kind of bummed that I missed out on the 2018 because I wouldn't mind having a second copy of Metroplex to turn into Metro Titan. Now, as you can see, my version of Metroplex has been upgraded with ToyHax decals. I just think it completes the look. I wish I got the other upgrades for Metroplex, like the extra gun, the articulated hands. I believe there was many third-party offerings upgrading Generations Metroplex. But looking back at Metroplex, I can't help but think that Hasbro thought this was going to be a one-shot figure. It seemed to be made for Legends class figures, as there are a lot of features with Generations Metroplex that allows for interaction with that size of figure. Now, in 2014, Hasbro did not release a Titan class figure, which further had me believe that Generations Metroplex was a one-and-done type of figure. 2015 would prove me wrong with the first phase of the Prime Wars trilogy, Combiner Wars. The second Titan class figure would be Devastator, and the theme of the year was Combiners, so in Hasbro's mind, it made sense for their next Titan offering to be Devastator. I remember first seeing preview pictures of this figure with a kid holding it, looking so happy, and me wanting to be that kid. Now, Combiner Wars Devastator was nowhere near as tall as Generations Metroplex, but he was 6 Voyager size robots that combined into a large 18-inch robot. Similar to Metroplex, there were several variations of it, and I have the normal retail version here. I know there was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive and a Takara Tomy Unite Warriors exclusive. But yeah, I currently have the Unite Warriors and the normal Hasbro release version, and I gotta say the Takara Tomy version is a lot better. The individual robots have a lot more articulation. They have individual weapons, and I think they have better paint apps. I got in some aspects. Now, Combiner Wars Devastators is pretty much a modern take on the Generation 1 Constructicons. They're just made bigger, more articulated, with the exception of Long Haul, who's pretty much serves as Devastator's crotch. Now, over the years, I've come to prefer Devastator not being so big. I really prefer his individual robot modes to be more of a deluxe size and height. And last year, a company knocked off and downsized Combiner Wars Devastator and released it, and I immediately picked it up because I thought it was the perfect size to go with my other Combiner War combiners. Now, unfortunately, the version they knocked off was the normal release version and not the Takara Tomy Unite Warriors version. But yeah, either way, I'm happy with it. After Combiner Wars, we got the second phase of the Prime Wars trilogy, Titans Return. Now, Titans Returns were all about Headmasters, or as they were called in this line, Titan Masters, and 2016 brought us the ultimate Headmaster, Fortress Maximus. Fortress Maximus is a retool of Generations Metroplex, sharing a lot of the same parts and at times relocating prior parts. He is the largest officially produced Transformer to date until HasLab's Unicron is released. Like his predecessors, there were different variations of him. He had a 2016 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which was a slight redeco of the regular retail release of Fortress Maximus, but included a large Master Sword and made changes to his small robot head emissary, who was known as Spike in Generation 1. Now, Takara Tomy Legends line had a redeco of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of Fortress Maximus. I think it probably had a little bit more better paint apps, as that was common with the Legends line. Now, as you can see, mine has been upgraded with ToyHax stickers, DNA design hip cannons to give him a more Generation 1 look, and DNA design articulated hands and feet. The gun is from Perfect Effect, and I think it really completes the look. Now, overall, I really like this figure for its size. I just wish it was made a bit better. The base mode is not... I wish the base mode was more G1 like, but because they reused the legs of Metroplex, it is what it is. Now, surprisingly, Titans Return gave us 2 Titan class figures in the line, with the second one being Trypticon. Titans Return Trypticon was released in 2017 as a result of a Facebook poll held by Hasbro in 2015. The other 2 contenders were Omega Supreme and Scorponok. And down the line, we got those 2. Well, we got Omega Supreme in Siege, and we're going to get Scorponok in Earthrise. In Generation 1, Trypticon wasn't the Headmaster, but they did incorporate the Titan Master gimmick into the smaller deluxe-sized robot that was included with him, full tilt. Now, Trypticon stands around 20 inches tall, which makes him the largest officially produced Decepticon until Earthrise Scorponok comes out, and I have a feeling Scorponok will be a bit taller. Unlike prior Titan class figures, there were no San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of Trypticon. Takara Tomy had their own version, which was a minor redeco of the Hasbro's version with a different sticker sheet. As you can see, I have ditched the official sticker sheet and I've upgraded my Trypticon with ToyHax decals. And I have to say, out of all the Titan class decals I've put on from ToyHax, Trypticon was the most difficult and time consuming for me, but still worth the money and the time spent. Now, out of all the Titans released to date, I think Trypticon is the most G1 in all 3 modes, which is really cool. The only thing missing, I would say, are electronics. It would be cool if he had light up eyes or even sounds. Which brings us to 2018 and the first and so far the only Titan class repaint, Grand Maximus. Now, Grand Maximus was a Takara Tomy Mall exclusive made available for pre-order from October 11th to November 2nd, 2017, and a minimum of 2,000 pre-orders was required to get this figure made. Now, this tiny Prime Master Shell I have here is a custom repaint, as the original Grand Maximus toy had a Pretender shell for the large robot head. Now, during the pre-order period, Takara Tomy said they would include Pretender shell if they had 3,000 pre-orders. Unfortunately, they fell short, so the official Pretender shell for Grand Maximus was not made. Now, you may also notice I don't have any stickers on my Grand Maximus yet. I'm saving up Robo points from ToyHax to hopefully get a set of decals from them. It's an item that's not in production, so it's very pricey right now. Hopefully I will be able to save enough Robo points to at least put a decent dent in the price by the end of the year. With that, the production of Grand Maximus gives me hope that we may have a similar opportunity to get Black Zarak made via Takara Tomy Mall. In the final installment of the Prime Wars trilogy, we get Power of the Prime's Predaking. While it was cool to get Predaking, at this point I was convinced any Titan size combiner would be too large for my taste. With the exception of Raiden, because Raiden basically are trains. I picked them up and I do enjoy the set, but I would much preferred an Omega Supreme or Scorponok to have been released at that time. Of course, I didn't know the future, but I'm glad we're getting it now. Well, we got Omega now and getting Scorponok later this year. Now, the individual robot modes are pretty true to G1, but like earlier Titan class combiner Devastator, they lack decent weapons, unless you got the Takara Tomy Mall version. I mean, the Unite Warriors version. Now, with my set, I had some QC issues with Predaking, his arms, but I didn't address it in time to get a return on it. So last year, I learned that Wei Jiang did a 1-to-1 scale knockoff of the Predacons, and I decided to order some of those individual figures to harvest parts to fix my Predaking. To my surprise, the Wei Jiang version, while being the same scale, was designed very differently on the inside, so I couldn't harvest parts to fix my official Predaking. And also to my surprise, the Wei Jiang version was designed and built better overall, with better articulation, less hollowness in both combined and individual robot modes. Now, like the Devastator, I'm hoping someone will downsize this figure, and I hope they do it with using the Wei Jiang version of Predaking, because I think it would be better if the Predacons matched in size with my other combiners. And I almost forgot, this is the first Titan class figure where there were no differences between Hasbro's release and Takara Tomy's release. With the Prime Wars trilogy over, we now enter into the War for Cybertron. Part 1 of this trilogy is Siege, and we get one of my childhood favorite characters, Omega Supreme. Released in 2019, just like Predaking, there are no variations of this figure. Omega is also part of the Siege line, which marked the beginning of Hasbro and Takara Tomy doing unified figure releases. While Omega was marketed as being 2 feet tall, he is nowhere near that from the top of his head, but I'm okay with that. I like the fact that he's shorter than Metroplex and Fortress Maximus. His robot mode is very true to his G1 design, but I do have some issues with certain proportions of his body. For example, I feel his arms are too short. His robot mode is kinda true to G1 if they made the tracks longer for a more oval look. Fortunately, third-party accessory maker Non-F Productions is working on a track extension kit for Siege Omega Supreme, and I can't wait to get that in. Now, as you can see, I've added ToyHax decals on Omega as well. I really think it completes the look, especially on his wings. It just seems to add more depth to them, makes them pop out in that area. Now, if you do get the upgrade kit, please make sure you get both sets the rocket base, and the main robot set to complete Omega. I'll put links to them in the description below. But I gotta say, I think this version of Omega looks very great. And, you know, even with its minor flaws, I'm very happy with it. Well, that is my Titan class collection acquired from 2013 to 2019. I can't wait to finish it off with Earthrise Scorponok this year, and hopefully we get Black Zarak next year through Takara Mall. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Really just wanted to share my Titan collection and some information I've learned about it online. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Follow us on social media and check out our Discord. Links in the description below.